What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 8th episode of the Streets of Rage online podcast. I'm your host, Streetsman. Got a lot to talk about today, obviously. As you can tell, if you've been following the site updates, we've had 2 site updates recently, both of them pretty big and introducing new content to some of these good fans here and bringing some people back on, really. It's an exciting time to be part of the community as we move into a new sort of realm, launching the Streets of Rage Ultimate World Tournament. This is a remake of the Streets of Rage Compete in World Championships from 2010 that I invented. So this is kind of a build-on of that, and this is the 2012 edition. Since we didn't have a 2011 edition, kind of was able to revamp some things and make it a little bit better, and including fan games now, and that's really the big thing. So you can get over there and see if you can become the new champion for 2012 and, forever have your names in our record books here. That's what it's really all about, and it's really just for some fun. I mean, it's open for, I'm not sure how long it's open for, but it's open for a while, so you can get your game polished and get on there and try to get a high score on the Streets of Rage games. So go do that. Just have some fun with it. That's really all it is, and maybe you can tie your name to a record. But it's really good to be back. A lot of excitement surrounding the site with the new forum design and just some new energy around. We've had a couple of new members join up that I can just tell are going to be regulars, and which is really good. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast and you have not headed over to our forum, please do. It's amazing. You can talk about Streets of Rage all you want. We got some off-topic stuff going on there if you want to talk about other things that are going on. But head over to the forum and make an account. And, I answer a lot of questions on there. I'm a site staff member and part of a development team for this site. And I like to answer questions from everyone. And I like to talk to new people. That's really my big thing in the community. It's what I love about this place. This next topic I bring up is quite a common topic, which is, sometimes I'm reluctant to bring it up because of the fact of how common it is. People asking about Streets of Rage 4 and what the situation is with that, and if we're ever going to see it happen, and things of that nature. Honestly, I have no idea right now. I think our best bet every year as fans is to see what's going on at E3 and seeing if Sega will make any type of announcement that will, gauge some interest from us as fans. I mean, it's hard to say what's going to happen with that situation because Sega is a company that's trying to move, I think, in a different direction. They're still trying to make money off of their old stuff, but I think they're starting to recognize unless it's Sonic, they aren't going to be able to remake it to a really good quality. And recently Sonic was kind of the series and the franchise, I think, was able to redeem itself with this new Sonic Generations game. But it was really the first good Sonic game, in my opinion, since Sonic Adventure had came out. So Sega, I think, kind of redeemed themselves there by putting out a good Sonic game finally, and kind of restored some faith in the longtime fans of that series. But I think while you ask about Streets of Rage 4, you have to ask yourself this question: do you trust Sega to make this game? After seeing everything that happened with Golden Axe, and what a disaster the new Golden Axe Beast Rider game turned out to be. Do you really want Sega touching this product? I don't know. I mean, I think if they did it as an Xbox Live Arcade game, I think it'd be fantastic, personally. But that's what I'd want to see it return as. On our website, there is a link to the Streets of Rage 4 petition. And it's just a few, I think it's just under 3,000 signatures for it. So if you want to see that, sign it. I think eventually the plan is for Sega to see that, or it to be sent to them, and for fans to kind of express their voice a little bit. So if you want it to happen, go ahead and sign the petition, and things maybe can start to happen there. It's there's a link to it on our website, so check that out if you don't know about it already. By the way, you can send questions for me to read and answer on this podcast at streetsofrageonline@gmail.com. I will get them from that email address, and I will read them on the podcast and answer any questions I get there. You can also post questions to the Streets of Rage online podcast topic in the forums, and from there I will answer those as well, just as I would if I got it through email. But I've got 3 questions today, and they come from the creator of Streets of Rage Online, Johnny, which is always a pleasure and an honor to answer anything from him. Number 1, question 1 from him. There seems to have been a lot of debate here recently over which ending to Streets of Rage 3 is the real one. What are your thoughts on the subject? Was Mr. X really a brain in a jar, or was it an elaborate deception? Honestly, as a fan of the series and playing the game and experiencing both endings on it many times, I feel like Sega kind of wants you to decide what that is. I don't think there's a clear-cut ending to the game that is, truth or lie. I think it's just decide for yourself which ending you think is real and which one you think is fake. I think Sega just wants you to decide. I don't think there's really a clear-cut right or wrong answer to that question. Question 2 from him. If you had to design a new playable character for Streets of Rage 4's roster, what would they be like, and how would they be different to the characters from the other games? Well, honestly, for me as a fan, I feel that a lot of the characters had a similar edge to them. Like, you were scared of them in some ways, and you wouldn't really want to go up against them, but they all had the same type of edge to them, edginess, swagger, so to speak. I would want someone on the hero's side that's just a little more hardcore and more toned down, but just a badass. I don't know if anybody can relate to what I'm talking about, but I feel like some of the characters are kind of have the exact same edginess and the same swagger, and I think they need someone more diverse and just more of a quiet, confident badass. That's what I think. This is probably my favorite question right here. He said, the site had its 10th anniversary recently. Where do you see things 10 years from now? Whew, wow. That's a great question, because I think in 10 years, if this site is still here in 10 years, look, a lot is going to have to have happened by then. I mean, we're going to have the Streets of Rage meetup. I'll still be doing this show in 10 years, more than likely. I'm not going anywhere, so I'll still be doing this. I think our forum will be really, really active at that time. It's already pretty good now, but in another 10 years, goodness, I think it'll be great. I mean, right now is the time to get on board, if you haven't already. Now is the time to get on board, because I think you want to see what happens over the next 10 years, trust me. So just to answer your question, I'm excited for the next 10 years, because there's going to be so many things that happens for this site that are first time things. The meetup is probably the biggest event. The podcast is going to continue to grow, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that things, on the podcast side, and hopefully things that I can help develop for the site, just really help out. So I'm excited for the future on that. Well, that's all the questions I've got. Remember, hit me up on the email, and we're going to see you next time on the Streets of Rage Online podcast. We'll be in episode 9. All right, take care, guys.